Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I'm going to talk about meditation rather than deliver a meditation, which is something that I often used to do in the past. And the first thing I want to say is and this is not a talk about me telling you not to meditate. That is not my intention today. That's not what I want you to get out of this sharing that I'm doing, because there is a lot of joy in meditation. It's a lovely thing to do. But I do want to share my personal journey with it and what I've seen about meditation and what it means to me over the last couple of years. So my history with meditation is lengthy. I think even before I burnt out in 2015, I did engage in some occasional meditation, perhaps not on a very regular basis, but I definitely did do some meditation. I'd explored it for a few years, probably from the beginning of the 2010s, the teens, I don't know what you call them. After I burnt out, as part of my mission to fix myself, I engaged in daily meditation. So I would meditate every day, no matter what. I meditated when I was poorly. I meditated when I was well, and when I was really busy, I still squeezed it in, along with the rest of an extensive morning routine I used to have. I meditated on holiday. A day never went by, probably for about 4 years, every single day. So it was religious, and it was, habitual, ritualized, I suppose. It was something I just did. Now, as I've already said, there is nothing wrong with meditation, but it for me, it was where the desire to meditate came from. And it came from the sense that I was broken, and meditation was one of the things I could do to fix myself. So it wasn't coming from a very good place, really. First of all, coming from the premise that I was broken in the first place, which I fundamentally don't believe now. Don't believe any of us are actually broken. But also with this idea that by doing the meditation, I could either improve my mental well-being or maintain it. That once I felt okay, doing the meditation would keep me okay. And I guess that's why I've spoken about this before, but that's why that some of these practices that we're encouraged to do to be okay can become addictive. Because if the story, which it was for me, if the story is, if I don't meditate, I'm not going to be okay, then what happens is, with that belief in place, with that underpinning belief being held and believed, then there's a filtering process that happens, really, because our minds very cleverly like to be right. It's a bit like how I used to be a lot of the time. Our minds like to be right, so there's a belief in place. If the belief is I'm not going to be okay if I don't meditate, then when you don't meditate, you have an awful day, you have a horrible day. You just notice that about yourself. There's no difference in how your day is, really. You're not any worse or better than you normally are, but you've told yourself to look out for the belief. I'm not okay if I don't meditate. You've not done any of that consciously, by the way. It's just happening. It's just your program running as it does. So So that was my journey. My journey was every day, and with that premise, I'm not going to get better, and I'm not going to be okay if I don't meditate. Didn't really see that I had anything inside me that I didn't have to add in from the outside. I thought I had to add in calm, I had to add in presence, I had to add mindfulness in by doing meditation and other techniques, of course, too. Now, more recently, my relationship with meditation, or my understanding of it, has completely changed, and that has happened gradually over the last couple of years. But fundamentally, one of the big changes came from I think it was probably in about May or June 2020 that I attended an online event called Living in a State of Meditation with Neill and Dicken. And that was utterly transformational in that it spoke to something I was starting to see, and that is that, yes, meditation is sold to us as a practice, as something to do, but it is actually a state of mind that is available to us all the time. It's always there. You always have a capability to be present, to be in the moment. It's just that a lot of the time we're not in the present moment because we are caught up in our conditioned thinking, the noise in our heads, the chatter, whatever you want to call it. And it was really interesting that, I'm recording this today on a day when this morning was, I do a little workout routine in the morning with Davina on the DVD. And this morning I got to the end of the stretching and I just thought, oh, I haven't really been did I do the stretching? I actually had one point where I just thought my head was very busy with what I was going to do today, and I just noticed that I hadn't really noticed myself doing some of the stretches. I normally notice what's happening in my body when I'm stretching, and I didn't this morning because my head had just got a little bit busy. But what happened when I noticed that was I naturally just fell back into the present moment. It was just the noticing. That's all it was needed. Just that noticing. So it's not as complicated as it might look at first, this getting into a place of being in a state of meditation. And when we're in that place more of the time, there's so much more available to us in terms of life. I was walking yesterday and I noticed that, I noticed some snowdrops, the joyous little hanging heads of snowdrops. I just love them. And they, seeing that to me is the first sign that we're coming out the other side of winter, although we're in the middle of storm, I don't know, Eunice or something at the moment. So it doesn't seem very spring-like, but just seeing those snowdrops, and I just noticed this wonderful whoosh of joy, I suppose, just from being in the moment with some snowdrops. And I feel quite emotional talking about it because it was just a lovely moment. And I don't think I would have been, I wouldn't have experienced life in quite that way before. But being in this state of meditation most of the time means that I do experience those things. And I suppose what I'm pointing to today is that is available to all of us with or without meditation. It might be that meditation is helping you to live more of your life in this state of meditation, which is wonderful. But actually, awareness is really, really powerful in this. Just noticing in the moment that you are not in the present moment, like what happened when I was exercising this morning. But I think the most important thing I want you to take away from this is that that thing that you experience, whatever it is for you, calm, quiet of mind, whatever, while you're meditating, that's who you really are. You're not this nattery, chattery nonsense in your head. You're not that. You're that feeling that you have when you're meditating. That's who you really are. And the more you see that, the more you look in that direction, the more that state of meditation is available to you. So please remember that. Remember that's who you are. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.